Let me make sure. Okay, I'm live now. Can you see?
No, ma'am. After I can see, I'll.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Yes, I can see now.
Okay, cool. And we are live. Hey, y'all. Hey, this is y'all favorite real estate diva. I'm in here. We are talking about lease options today. So you guys should be able to see my screen in a minute. Because we're going to talk about it. We're going to get on here. We're going to get on here. Do what it do. Make it do what it do. Yep, it's doing what it's doing. Let's see. Drop the links. Because Lord knows. You know what? I'm going to have to do this. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Come on in, grab your pens, grab your papers. You don't need calculators, but you will need pen and paper today because we are trying to, we're going to be talking about lease options. For those of you who don't know what a lease option is, it is rent to own. Just to give you an idea, rent to own. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that tonight. And this is me allowing you guys a sneak peek inside of the Creative Academy, because that's what we're doing. So for those of you who, let me know if you can see my screen. Drop the money bags in the comments if you can see my screen, because I want to make sure I have everything up and running the right way, because I'm going to be over here. Everybody can see my screen. Yeah, let me do this while y'all doing that. Okay. And just so you guys know, this live is not staying up. It is not. Not staying up, not staying up. Trying to make sure my people in the group is. Okay, they tripping again. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, hold on. Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Hey, y'all. You can see me. If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, even better. Tonight, we're going to be talking about lease options. Lease options is commonly known as rent to own. So that's where we're at. Okay. Now, let me just pull this up. So welcome to the Creative Wealth Academy. My name is Lisa Robinson. I'm the creator and founder of the Creative Wealth Academy, where we build and show you how to build real estate portfolios, flip houses, and build a real estate portfolio using creative finance strategies that you can get into with little to no cash and absolutely no check. So that's what we're working on today. Now, what we will go over, today's discussion is going to be what is a lease option. We're going to try and do some market research, and we're going to talk about some scripts that you might have. I founded the Creative Wealth Academy to give real estate investors a resource they could tap into, because when I first started out, nobody was doing what I wanted to do. Nobody knew how to do what I wanted to do. And there was nobody available to teach that was willing to teach. Now, I'm not say they couldn't teach me. They weren't willing to teach me. So when I have those memories of being a new investor and trying to figure things out and no one wanting to give answers, there was nobody that looked like me. And I'm not saying that I had to learn from somebody who looked like me, but it's probably been more effective if I did. But like I said, I had to research and do everything on my own. And what you get now because of that is a creative academy. So own nothing but control everything. Famous words from John D. Rockefeller when he said it. Now, how to own nothing, control everything. That is basically what rent to own or lease options are. It means you have control of the property, but you do not own it. You profit from the property, but you do not own it. So let's get into it. What is a lease option? The investor leases a property with an option to purchase it later at a pre-agreed price. Now, when I say that, I say this to say at a prearranged price. Let's see if we can go back here. Okay. Now, some people will say, oh, we agreed on this price already. So I'm going to give you a 2-year lease, and then 2 years, you're going to buy this property from me for this price. Or they'll say market value. So that means you'll put money into it for the next 2 years, and then at market value, they'll subtract what you did at market value, and that's the loan you have to take out, or that's how much you have to come up with in cash. Okay. Lease option, lease with an option to purchase. Now, here's the kicker. You do not have to take option, but you will lose your money. So why would you lease option? Why do people want to rent to own? It gives the renter, tenant, resident, it depends on what you want to call your people, a chance to purchase a property once the rental agreement period has ended. So after the end of 1 year, after the end of 2 years, whenever the lease ends, you now have a choice to pick up the option. If you decide not to pick up the option, you will then lose the property. You got to move, okay? Or you got to move your tenants out, or whatever it is that you have to do. Now, the owner is not allowed to sell the property to anyone else during this time because you have an agreement in place that says you have the first option you are the one that can pick up the option, and you basically have the right of refusal. You have the first right of refusal, okay? A tenant, renter, resident must exercise their right to purchase or lose the property and all their deposits. That means if you choose, you put a $10,000 non-refundable deposit that they were going to use as your down payment, and you decide not to take the option, you're going to lose your $10,000. Now I'm going to tell you how that can be avoided. That can be avoided because you can choose to put that in the contract and word it another way or negotiate it another way. It all depends on how you negotiate. Now, where do you find lease options? Okay, you can find a lease option anywhere. You can find lease options anywhere that you choose to find rentals. Wherever there's a rental, there's an opportunity for a lease option. Sitting in, wherever there's a rental, there's an opportunity for a lease option. So Zillow has properties for rent. Craigslist has properties for rent. Craigslist actually has a lot of rent to own properties listed. Facebook Marketplace has some. Facebook, you could run ads to landlords, and on Google, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever you like, you can find your buyers. You can buy ad space and run ads to it. ForRent.co, not com, it's not a typo, it's ForRent.co. That is a place where you can find lease options. Rent.com. Facebook groups have listed all the time. They have Facebook groups named lease options. So You might want to go into there. Realtor. Let me explain, because a lot of y'all say, well, realtors don't do this. Realtors that know how to work with investors know how to do lease options. And they also know how to, some of their properties are listed for rent, because realtors do rent properties. They're listed for rent. However, and I say this with my whole heart, however, they do know how they know how to negotiate the rent to own. They'll tell you, hey, you can ask them, hey, is this property available for sale? And they'll say, well, right now we're renting it, but let me check with the owner. Oh yeah, he's interested in selling it, but can we do a rent to own? Well, what would that be like? And now is your opportunity to educate the realtor if they don't know. And then the realtor the realtor will educate you with the terms that the seller has already given them. So it's completely up to you. Now, make sure when you're negotiating these things, and we're going to talk about this a little later, there's some disclosures and clauses you need to have in your contract, okay? And of course, you can find lease options from wholesalers. I have a couple. I have one here in Buffalo that I know of. I got to make sure it's still available, but there is a rent to own. Now, the pitch, it's either yes or no. Okay. Now, if you want to screenshot this, feel free. What to say? Things to say. Hello, blank. I'm blank. I was wondering when I could see, and that's one thing you're going to say, when I could see, and you put the property of the address. Next thing you could say is, hey, seller, this is Lisa. I see you have blank, 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 123 Main Street for rent. Is now a good time to talk? Or when are you available to talk? People in a Creative Wealth Academy, you guys know, we don't ask yes or no questions. You always want to verify you are talking with a person that placed the ad. Whoever placed the rent to own ad, whoever placed the for rent, you to talk to that person. So if it's a real estate agent, you want to talk to the real estate agent. If it's a seller, you want to talk to the seller. Introduce yourself and explain why you're calling. Hey, I saw your ad. I saw this. I saw that. I saw the property on Zillow. I saw it on rent.co. I saw it wherever you saw the property. I saw it on Craigslist. Mention that so they know why you're calling. Now, this is for properties that are rent. Now, you might find some that are already listed and they already said they're available for rent to own. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some information about the property. You want to know what are the terms for leasing with the options to purchase. Negotiate only if necessary. So if they say, hey, we're looking for first month's rent, security deposit, you have to sign a 2-year lease and pick up the option, and we have to come up with an option price at the end of 2 years. I'm going to say okay to that because they didn't ask me about a down payment. So I'm going to say okay to that. They ask for a down payment, I'm going to make it clear and make it plain as the person looking to lease. I don't want to make this down payment non-refundable. And I know a lot of you are like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, if it's my lease option, I'm going to make it non-refundable. But if I'm doing a lease option from someone else, I'm not going to make it refundable. I don't want to make it non-refundable. Okay, you're going to negotiate. So you negotiate only if it's necessary. Make the appointment to see the property. If you like it and the terms work for you, get the agreement signed and move in or move your tenant buyer in. Here's where we're going to get tricky. In your disclosures, you need to make sure that you clarify you are not the one that you are responsible for the rent, but you are not the one that's going to be living here. So you want to make sure in your lease you have the ability to sublease. All right. Make that part of your terms. All right. See, it was very quick tonight. Very, very quick. Now, some lease options. Let me give you some lease options. The benefit of a lease option and why you want. We're going to do part 2 of this next week because what we do then is we're going to get into the paperwork. We're going to do contracts, and that part, I'm sorry, guys, that won't be live streamed. It'll just be, that's for my Creative Wealth Academy people. That's why we stopped right there, because we started getting into contracts and terms and negotiations and everything else. So lease option. So I wanted to give you guys the basics of a lease option. What is it? Where do you find it? How do you negotiate it? And what are the terms? Now, some buyers, some sellers will have you on here thinking that, and they will have you on here and they'll say, hey, you know what? We have, we might be open to it. We don't understand it. What is it that we have to do? You know, things like that. Some people you might have to convince them or just explain it a little bit more as to why you have why you're offering lease option. Number one, what is it? What's the benefit? Excuse me. What's the benefit to them actually on a lease option and things of that nature? So that's where we say, you know, convincing. You try to convince people. It's pitch. Now your pitch consists of this. You want to see the property. That's your number one goal. You definitely want to see the property first. Then you're going to always say what your pitch is. Hey, I see this property is for rent. Now, when you have properties that are for sale, and if they're for sale by owner or listed with a real estate agent and they've been on the market for a while, pitch them a lease option. Hey, would you be willing to rent this house to me and then we purchase it? Or you can do seller financing, which I talk about too. So we'll talk about seller financing another day. But you can pitch that you want to do a lease with an option to purchase. But I'm telling you, people, when you say lease with an option to purchase, investors you're talking about. When you're talking to a seller, you're going to definitely say rent to own, because you want to make sure that this is what it is. Are we clear? We good? We good? Okay. Now, are there any questions? Because like I said, tonight was going to be quick. Part one is always quick. Part two is a little more in detail. We go through the contract. We go through a lease. We go through a standard lease, not the lease for your state. So if you want the lease from your state reviewed, Creative Academy people, if you guys want the lease, if you want your lease for your state reviewed, then you need to schedule a strategy session and we can go over it. But a purchase agreement is a purchase agreement is a purchase agreement. So that's what we're going to do. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you.
Okay. So let's say you got a contract with a client who's looking to rent to own and the seller.
Okay.
Do we offer additional services for the person that's renting to own to prepare them for when that contract is up to be able to finance the house? Do we look at their credit?
Within our network, yes. Within the Creative Wealth Academy, I have people that I have 2 or 3 different credit servicers that does credit repair. They'll review their credit to see where they're at. Everybody should be pulling their own credit report at least once a year anyway. You get a free copy from all 3 bureaus. So you should be pulling everybody. And I say this, I run my credit report every month. I'm not even gonna lie. Because I signed up for the service that allows me to do that. So I pull my credit every month. And I look at it and I go over it to make sure things are correct on my credit report. And so, yeah, I suggest you get a copy. I tell everybody, before you buy a house, before you go out and rent a house, make sure you pull your own credit report. Before you go buy a car, pull your own credit report so you know. And if you get with Credit Cleanse, that Credit Cleanse does, they can review your credit until if you do a laser session with them, they'll pull your credit and tell you which lender to go to for a car based on your credit report and your scores on your, because you know your score is different on one of the 3 bureaus. You're going to have 3 different scores. And the people
Yes.
usually go by your middle score. So if they're going by your middle score, some lenders only pull TransUnion. So if your credit score is higher on a TransUnion, they will give you a strategy and tell you which lenders will only pull TransUnion.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, because I'm actually looking for a new vehicle, not right now, but in the next few months. But the rates for vehicles is high.
Horrible.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to, go through this process. And I think that option will be great. It's going to save me money in the end.
Yeah, not only that, but what they also do, their team, you schedule a laser session, they'll pull your credit report, they will tell you what lender to go to. You will go to that lender and get approved for your loan. So when you go to a car dealership, they don't have to pull your credit anymore because you've already been pre-approved.
They get angry when you do that.
I don't care what they get when you do that. Okay, because now I know what car, and I'm paying cash for the car. At that point, I'm paying cash for a car. Here's your check. Take it. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather do that, and that saves you a bunch of time. It saves you time, frustration, and everything else in a car dealership.
Okay.
Sure does.
The second question is, there's actually a house 2 doors down from me. Now, I could tell, I feel like it needs a remodel, but it was on the market, but then it went off. I don't think they had any buyers. Okay. You're laughing. What does that say?
It said you need to knock on their door and find out what their house is and see if they still want to sell it.
I was just going to say that. I was like, I wonder if I could present the rent to own option. Yeah.
Who is it hurting? Do they live in the house? The owners?
No, I believe it's like 4 tenants, but it's like a few 1 bedrooms. Part of me is thinking, like, why do people live here? But my standards are different than other people's.
Okay, first thing first. Okay, so what you want to do is, first of all, you want to see if they have a mortgage. You want to call them and see if they're still interested in selling the house. You know how to do that, right?
If I don't, I can look right in my wholesaler's handbook.
As I say, you know how to do that, right? You see the way I'm looking at you, like, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to find the owners of the property. You're going to call them up, say, hey, I saw your property was for sale, and I understand it's no longer for sale. Are you still interested in selling it? I live down the street. Are you still interested in selling? If they say yes, say, hey, now here's what I was wondering. Either can I take over the existing loan that you have, or, because that's subject to, or is there a possibility of you financing this? Would you accept a seller finance where you are my bank? Because I'm not going to live in this home. I just want it for income property, and I don't want to mess up my first time home buyers benefits that I could get based on me being a first time home buyer. So I would rather do a subject to or a seller finance. Is that something you would be interested in? Then you pitch, how long do you think you'll need to do that? And then once you figure out how long you need to do it, then you can go on about your business, what you do.
Now, when he say, yes, I can come look at the property, I'm going to call you. I know I'm my fee, and I'm going to have a professional come look at it because I'm not there yet.
That's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's part of me coaching. So yeah, I'm fine with that. But you need to find them first. First step is getting them on the phone and seeing if he wants to sell it. If he still wants to sell it, you want to buy it. When can I come see it? Don't even, if once he says, hey, I noticed your property was for sale, it's no longer on the market. Did you sell it? That's the thing. Did you sell that property? No.
Gotcha.
Okay. If you're interested in, if you still want to sell and I'm interested in buying, when can I see it?
Got you.
You get what I'm saying? So you never give them an opportunity to say yes or no. Only when
don't shoot yourself in the foot. See if you want it first.
Right.
Let's get in the door.
Yes.
Then present once I'm there the additional options.
There you go.
I actually like that, because not having a vehicle, you kind of feel like your options are limited and you can't look for opportunities.
That's
But that just opened up another idea. I can look at houses that are not selling and then kind of like the blue path, a little different. Yes. Why, thank you. Real
Yes, ma'am.
estate diva.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I'm, the reason why I'm saying it that way is you want to go for a lot of people when they're just starting out, they want to go for that low hanging fruit. Guess what? A house that was on the market and didn't sell is low hanging fruit. Very low. Because the people, they wanted to sell, that's like a warm lead. A hot lead is anything that's already for sale and you just want to be out trying to figure it out and try and wholesale it. That's a hot lead. A warm lead is an expired listing, is what they're called, because they expire, nobody buys. So the reason why nobody bought it is because it's overpriced. That is the only reason. I'm being honest. People will kill me. Oh, it's not priced right. It's not this. There are two reasons that houses do not sell, and I don't care what anybody else tries to tell me. I'll leave this with my whole heart. There are only two reasons that a property will not sell. Reason number one, it is not priced correctly. That's the first reason it will not sell, because the property is not priced correctly. The other reason is it might be priced correctly, but it needs too much work. And people don't want, a lot of people who are for house on the market are looking for move-in ready, turnkey. So those are my two reasons, and those are the only two reasons I've ever come into play.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
I got a little bit of homework to do. I'm excited. Let me know when class finished because I'm going to set my time aside and I'm going to get my list together. They gave me some gas for my vehicle. I was on empty.
I mean, sometimes it happens that way. You say it and you go, okay, yeah, I get it. But yeah, you already know. You already know.
Trial and error, and I'm open for trial and error. I'm learning.
But you definitely know. Okay, yeah, you definitely know. So, but I tell you, that's what it's going to be about. So when we do rent to own or lease options, we want to make sure. A lot of people say, "Oh, you can't do a lease option if there's a mortgage." Yes, you can. You can do a lease option if there's a mortgage. You can do financing if there's a mortgage. And even then, you just can't do can't do more than what the mortgage would be. So we'll talk about that next week. Well, next week is a Lease Options Pt2, and I'm going to send you guys a schedule. You guys are going to get the schedule for the next 90 days of what we're going to be going over. So that's going to be the next 12 weeks of everything that we're going to be going over on Thursday nights, because I got to tighten up my organization, because some stuff really got me this week. All right.
Understood.
Yeah, but I'm excited for you. Let me know how that works out. If you want to run your numbers. Have you ran your numbers on that property?
No, I have not. I know what they're selling it for, which was 350,000. But the house I live in is worth 500 and
okay,
30,000.
But that's the house you live in. Now you need to run numbers before you make that
phone
call. And this is the only time I'm ever going to tell you that. That's because you're in the process of learning. Before you make that phone call, run numbers.
Okay.
Because he says I'm open to selling it, and you say, hey, well, what would you take for it? I understand you were looking for this before. What was the reason it didn't sell? What type of feedback? And you want to know what type of feedback were you getting from the people who saw the property?
Right. I think one of the things that go against him is that the 1 bedrooms. you know, because of the side time we live on, there tend to be bigger families. I think that goes against him. I think in my household, she turned the dining room into another bedroom. So it, you know, opened up for bigger families. I think just off the top of my head, that's the benefit she has over him.
Gotcha.
But it's my job to still do the research and hear from him and what he has to say.
Correct. Absolutely. All right, my love. So we're gonna
My
get this,
internet connection is a little jumpy.
huh?
I said my internet, it got you like jumping.
Yeah, it could be my internet too. My, my house works. It works when it wants to. So that's that. But all right, my love.
But yes, I can send over, I could run the numbers and I could
Send me the address. I will
okay.
go over and see what else I can do. For those of you who are listening on social media outlets, if you are interested in joining the Creative Wealth Academy, the doors are going to be open for the next 7 days because I don't keep the doors open I don't open the doors every single month and all this other stuff. I'm not one of those people. So we will be doing this once a month. So the doors are open for the next 7 days up until Wednesday night, Wednesday of next week at 11:59 p.m. After that time, the door will be closed again. In the Creative Wealth Academy, we teach creative financing strategies to help you build a real estate portfolio. We also teach you how to acquire and manage your portfolio, build your teams, insert your systems, and also how to put systems in place for those of you who want to flip houses. If you're into marketing research, transaction coordination, we do it all. So inside of that, that's where we are. If anyone, we have a nationwide database of resources that we also use inside the I won't say creative financing so bad, Creative Wealth Academy. We have a nationwide database of lenders, realtors, brokers, title companies, attorneys, contractors, bean counters, as I like to call them, the accountants and the bookkeepers, and also wholesalers, and I'm not sure if I said real estate agents, but real estate agents and inspectors. We have a nationwide database that we tap into for our resources. So if you are a member of the Creative Wealth Academy, we also do that. We also have a wealth outreach is what I would like to call it, wealth outreach, where we have insurance agents, financial advisors, credit repair specialists to help you and assist you with getting your credit back where it needs to be, because there is a section of the program that will teach you how to leverage your credit to build your real estate portfolio. And that's where we go. When I say $0 pocket, it's because we've leveraged some part of your credit to avoid losing your cash. And sometimes we use your cash to build your credit. We teach you all that. So if you're interested in joining the Creative Wealth Academy, just DM me or creative and I will send you the link so we can get you into class. We will be on this journey of getting all of this stuff done and over with within the next, let's see, over the course of the next 12 weeks, we're going to start building out portfolios. And the young lady that you just heard speaking, she's in the Creative Wealth Academy and she will be learning right along with you. So reach out to me. Let me know if you want to join. And like I said earlier today, we were talking about wholesaling. This evening, we're talking about lease options. The next live stream I do will probably be Sunday. And it's because I got a lot going on and I know I won't be live tomorrow. I might come live tomorrow. If I do, we'll be about seller financing. And then we'll go into details and I just taxed not too long ago, but a lot of you like the tax talk. So we'll be talking about tax deeds, tax liens, and foreclosures. When we say foreclosures, we're not just talking about tax foreclosure, we're going to talk about mortgage foreclosures too. We're also going to talk some more about bankruptcies because those are prevalent right now along with the foreclosures. So We will talk about it and we will get into it. Okay? All right. Now, as I always tell you guys right before we sign off, you can choose to be anything you want in this world. I just hope you choose to be kind, because at some point in your life, someone was kind to you, and it's always good to pay that kindness forward. Not only does paying it forward make you a good person, but it could make, if we all did it, make the world a much better place. And believe me when I tell you, we could all use some kindness and appreciation and love right about now. Twice, if you know what I mean. Okay. Now, if this was your first time being with me, don't let it be your last. And if you've been here before, please and thank you for always coming back. And I appreciate you, loving like you a lot. I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to go take my migraine medication and go to bed. It's about that time. I got to go to bed. All right. Now, thank you for joining us. We are done. See you later. Bye-bye.